nararapat na serbisyo. Una ko iniisip, pangalagaan sila.
May sinag ng pag-asa at may malasakit sa isa't isa.
Sa ulo ng mga nagbabagang balita, exclusive, grupo ng mga kabataang nakatulog sa Riles matapos mag-inuman, nasagasaan ng tren, 2 dalagita, patay, 4 sugatan. 7 taong gulang na bata, hinalay at pinatay umano ng kumpare ng tatay. Ilang mga bayan sa Hilagan, Luzon, hindi pa rin mahatiran ng tulong, isolated dahil sa landslides. Presyo ng bulaklak para sa undas, sumipa na matapos ang bagyo. Hindi niremit na SSS at PhilHealth contributions ng mga teacher at gwardiya ng pribadong eskwelahan, tinutukan sa tapat na post. At ang pagtitipon ng kapamilya stars sa tinaguriang Most Magical Night in Showbiz, live sa ika-10 Star Magic Ball.
Mula sa ABS-CBN Manila, ito ang TV Patrol Weekend! Magandang hapon Pilipinas, kami mga patrol ng Pilipino.
Nagbabalita at naglilingkod sa inyo saan man sa mundo.
Kapamilya, 2 menor de edad ang patay, habang 4 pang iba ang sugatan matapos masagasaan ng tren sa Santa Cruz, Maynila. Exclusive ng Papatrol, Jack Batallones.
Sa cellphone video na ito, makikitang inilagay sa stretcher ng mga rescue workers ang isang babaeng sugatan. Sa di kalayuan, makikita ang isang lalaki na putol ang mga binti. 2 lang sila sa 6 na menor de edad na nasagasaan ng tren kaninang umaga sa Santa Cruz, Manila. Ayon sa mga opisyalis ng Barangay 368, dumayo lang sa lugar ang mga kabataang nasa edad 12 at 14 para mag-inuman. Lumalabas sa inisyal na investigasyon na dito sa gitna ng Riles nag-inuman itong magbabarkada. Hanggang sa sobrang kalasingan ay dito na sila nakatulog, kaya nga hindi nila napansin na paparating na pala ang tren. Bakas pa sa lugar ang pinag-inuman ng grupo.
Galing daw po sila dun sa dulo. Tapos sinaboy po sila dun. Napunta sila dito sa lugar namin.
Agad itinakbo sa ospital ang mga biktima. Ayon sa kagawad, sinasaway naman nila ang mga taong tumatambay sa tabi ng Riles ng tren.
Pero babawalan namin. Kasi bawal talaga tumambay dito sa Riles eh. Tumatakas talaga.
2 13 anyos na dalagita ang namatay at 4 ang sugatan na dinala sa pagamutan. Jack Batallones, ABS-CBN News.
Hinalay at saka pinatay ang isang 7 taong gulang na batang babae sa Malabon. Agad naman pong nahuli ang sospek na kumpare pa ng ama ng biktima. Napapatrol, April Rafales.
Naghihinagpisang magulang ng isang 7 taong gulang na bata na walang awang hinalay at pinatay ng mismong kumpare ng tatay ng biktima.
Maski 10 beses isang patayin, kulang pa eh.
Pasensya ka na, hindi ka namin na ipagtanggol.
Natagpuan ang bangkay ng batang babae sa madilim na bahagi ng sementeryo sa Barangay Tugatog, Malabon kagabi. Walang saplot, binusalan ng bibig at duguan ang ari at ulo. Itinuturong sospek ang kapitbahay at kumpare ng ama ng bata na si JR Payawal.
Siya po talaga, kanina pa po siya pabalik-balik sa bahay namin. Kinukulit niya yung mga anak ko, kakain sila sa labas.
Sa CCTV ng barangay, makikitang magkasama ang sospek at biktima. Pagkaraan ng ilang oras, lumabas ng sementeryo ang sospek na mag-isa na lang.
Kasama ko sa akin, hanapin ko daw po yung bangkay. Doon po sa Mindomaris, doon niya po na inamin. Pinatay niya po yung bata.
Nang mai-report, agad nahanap ng mga pulis si Payawal. Sumuko na siya noong Hulyo dahil sa paggamit ng droga.
Nandun lang, parang nagtatago siya, tapos tumakbo siya. Bakit siya tatakbo kung wala siyang kasalanan? Yun, nakuyog siya ng taong bayan.
Hindi ko ginawa yun. Kasama ko siya pero nagugulat ako, uwi ka na, pero
Gagamiting dagdag na ebidensya ng pulisya ang mga sariwang sugat sa tuhod at mga dugo sa kuko at shorts ng suspect. Titignan kung magkamatch ito sa dugo ng biktima. Kasong rapid murder ang isasampa sa kanya. April Rafales, ABS-CBN News.
Sa probinsya ng Cagayan, marami pa ring lugar ang nananatiling isolated dahil sa mga nangyaring landslide. Pahirapan tuloy ang paghatid ng ayuda. Mula Tuguegarao City, nagpapatrol Jeff Canoy. Jeff, bakit hindi pa rin natatanggal ang mga nakahambalang sa daan?
Then paliwanag ng provincial government, ito na rin ay dahil daw sa lawak at dami ng pinsala dito sa kanilang probinsya. Ang problema pa din, meron nga raw silang mga equipment pero walang manpower. Tuloy, marami pa rin mga lugar dito ang hindi pa rin naaabot ng tulong. Paano itatawid ang ayuda kung ganito ang mga kalsada? Kaya kailangan lakarin o piliting tawirin ang tambak ng bato at lupa. Isa si Ferdinand na ilang oras tinawid ang highway na ito sa Peña Blanca para makalabas ng isolated na mga barangay.
Ang hirap talaga. Ngayon lang ako nagkaroon ng ganitong bagyo eh. Ay yung pagkain medyo mahirap. Walang kabuhayan.
Mula sa himpapawid, makikita ang lawak ng pinsala at kung gaano katindi ang problema ng mga nasalanta, pati na rin ang mga re-responde. Maraming balakid ng guho mula sa bundok. May mga puno ring nabuwal at nagkalat ang putik. May isang bahagi ng bundok na gumuho papunta sa mga bahay. Kaya marami sa mga nasalanta ang hirap maabutan ng tulong. Ayon kay Cagayan Governor Manuel Mamba, nanghiram na sila ng heavy equipment sa private sector para sa clearing operations sa mga bayan ng Rizal, Bagao at Peña Blanca. Pero kulang sa tao dahil marami sa empleyado na salanta rin.
DPWH ready naman sila pero ang nagiging problema is we do not have the people nag-uuwian din sa kanilang mga bahay. And so hopefully by tomorrow or Monday, mamobilize natin.
Isinailalim ni Mamba ang Cagayan sa state of calamity. Bagamat hinihintay pa niyang aprubahan ito ng sangguniang panlalawigan. Sa huling tala ng Office of Civil Defense, higit 16,000 pamilya ang naapektuhan ng bagyo. 3 ang kumpirmadong nasawi.
Hindi tuluyang kakalas ang Pilipinas sa Amerika. Yan ang nilinaw ni Pangulong Duterte matapos sabihing makikipaghiwalay na siya sa Amerika sa kanyang state visit sa China. Nagpapatrol, Ara Casas.
Pag-uwi mula Brunei at China, itinangako ni Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte na maraming Pilipino ang makikinabang sa mga napag-usapan, lalo na sa ekonomiya. Sa Brunei, kabilang sa mga napag-usapan ang pagpapalakas ng halal industry sa Mindanao, bimpiyaga at pagsuporta sa giyera kontra droga.
We instructed officials of our respective government to immediately work together in transforming this agreed agenda into specific plans.
Produktibo rin ang state visit sa China. Nakatanggap ng $24 billion ang Pilipinas para sa iba't ibang programa. Nagkasundo rin ang Pilipinas at China sa problema sa South China Sea. Nakokontrolin ng dalawang bansa ang Coast Guards para iwas gulo sa karagatan.
We also agreed to continue discussions on confidence-building measures, including a bilateral consultation mechanisms to discuss immediate issues of concern in South China Sea.
Nilinaw naman niya na ang sinabing pagkalas sa US ay tungkol lang sa foreign policy.
It's not severance of ties. I cannot do that. Why? Because there are many Filipinos in the United States. I said separation. What I was really saying was separation of a foreign policy.
Tukol naman sa gulo sa rally sa US Embassy.
I'm not justifying it. Just say maybe. Baka he was under stress. Hindi naman talaga yung talagang may gusto siyang patayin. I do not want any firearms during demonstrations. Maybe, but no M16s there.
Plano niyang kausapin ang mga pulis at nagprotesta. Ara Casas, ABS-CBN News, Davao City.
Natagpuan na ang bangkay ng dalawang pasaherong sakay ng Cessna plane na bumagsak sa karagatan ng Santiago, Ilocos Sur kahapon. Sa paunguna ng Coast Guard divers at rescuers, nakuha mula sa loob ng eroplano ang bangkay ng flight instructor na si Jan Kaizan Estabillo at student pilot na si Paula Bianca Robles. Tumanggi magsalita mga kaanak. Ayon sa Leading Edge International Aviation Academy, nagsagawa ng training flight ang dalawa kahapon mula La Union. Nangako naman ang pamunuan ng Leading Edge na tatanggalin nila ang lumubog na eroplano bago ito tuluyang magdulot ng oil spill. Hindi inirimit na SSS sa PhilHealth contributions ang problemang idinulog sa atin ng mga teacher at gwardya ng isang eskwelahan sa Taguig. Yan ang ating tinutukan sa tapat na po.
Nanlumo si Daniel at Rosemary nang malamang hindi pala inihulog ng dati nilang principal na si Lorenzo Salazar ang kanilang kontribusyon sa SSS at PhilHealth na kinaltas sa kanilang sahod sa loob ng 3 taon. Makailang ulit nakiusap ang kanilang grupo sa dating punong guro pero hindi rin ito tinupad ang pangakong ibabalik ang kanilang pera.
Iripan na lang nila lahat ng hulog namin.
Nasa kanila naman yung pera. Bakit hindi na lang nila bayaran?
Ang ilan sa kanila nalubog na sa utang at pinoproblema kung may makukuha pa ba silang retirement benefit.
Masakit po yun sa amin, ma'am, kasi ang liit nga po ng sweldo namin, tapos ginanampak kami nila. Wala nang problema, ibalik na lang yung pera sa amin.
Paliwanag ni Salazar, binawi sa kanyang pamamahala ng school matapos magkaberya sa kasunduan niya at dating may-ari. Inamin ni Salazar na totoong nagkaroon ng aberya sa SSS na mga guro dahil umano nagkulang ang koleksyon at delayed payment. Pero git ng DOLE, dapat walang epekto sa hulog ng empleyado ang issue ng kita o pagbabago ng school administration.
Obligasyon po yun ng school, kahit magbago-bago na yung administrador, magbabago-bago na yung principal.
Na-endorso na sa legal department ng SSS ang reklamo ng mga teacher at binigyan ng 10 araw ang school para umaksyon. Ayon naman sa PhilHealth, lumilitaw na may narimit pero hindi na i-report kaya kailangang i-update ito ng paaralan.
Sa pamunuan ng eskwelahan, maging tapat na po. Kinaltas nyo, responsibilidad nyong i-remit. dahil pera po yan ng mga guro at manggagawa. Sa mga consumer na nais magpadala ng kanilang reklamo, mag-post o mag-message lamang sa aming Facebook page.
Magtitipon-tipon muli ang Kapamilya Stars sa taunang tradisyon ng Star Magic Ball. Inaasahang mas espesyal po ito ngayon, lalo't ika-10 taon na ang tinaguriang Most Magical Night in Showbiz. Live mula sa Makati Shangri-La, nagpapatrol Gretchen Polido. Gretchen, nagsisidatingan na ba ang mga stars?
Diyan nilang sandali na lang ay magsisimula ng rumampa dito sa red carpet ang mga bituin para sa 10th Star Magic Ball. Alam mo, kanina puspusa na paghahanda ng mga stars at sa kanilang pagre-rehearse para sa kanilang annual cotillion at mga special numbers na nihanda nila para sa program. Tiyak naman nakikiligin ng fans dahil sa inaasahang magka-date mamaya ang Kasniel, Liz Ken, Kim C at real-life couples Dan Rich, Jessie Mendiola at Luis Manzano at Colleen Garcia at Billy Crawford. At all eyes rin sa pagrampa ng mga bituin at love teams, suot ang kanilang engrandeng black or white gowns at suits at inaabangan din ng mga ayaw magpakabog sa get-up. Kasama ang fans sa tinaguriang Most Magical Night in Showbiz. At mamaya inaabangan rin kung magka-date ba o may ka-date o solong darating sina Piolo Pascual, John Lloyd Cruz, Angelica Panganiban, Maha Salvador, Bea Alonso at Gerald Anderson. Mapapanood yun ng live, kaya sa mga fans na gustong makita ang kanilang favorite stars, live po ang red carpet event ng Star Magic Ball 2016 kung saan makakasama namin at may interview namin ang mga Star Magic artists mamayang alas 6:30 ng gabi hanggang alas 8 ng gabi sa ABS-CBN News Channel, Lifestyle Network, Kapamilya Box Office, Sky Freeview HD 243 and SD 211 at sa I1 TV. Zen, nakaredy ng mga photographers, ang mga videographers dito sa red carpet dahil ilang sandali na lang ay rarampa na ang mga Star Magic artists dito sa 10th Star Magic Ball. At yan muna ang latest dito. Balik sa inyo.
Aabangan namin yan. Maraming salamat sa iyo, Gretchen Polido. Presyo ng petrolyo may nakaamba na namang pagtataas. At ang makulay na show of lights sa Mascara Festival sa pagbabalik ng TV Patrol Weekend.
Kapit na mga motorista, eto na ang busina sa petrolyo.
Kano ba yan?
Naku, bad news ulit eh. Sa ikapitong sunod na linggo, may pagtaas naman po sa presyo ng gasolina next week. Maglalaro sa 15 hanggang 25 centavos kada litro ang price hike sa gasolina sa susunod na linggo. Halos 3 piso na rin pong nagiging kabuuang dagdag presyo sa gasolina dahil po sa magkasunod na oil price hike. Wala namang inaasahang galaw sa presyo ng diesel dahil bagamat bumaba man ang presyo nito, hindi naman naabot ng 5 centavos kada litro. Ang kerosene naman may rollback na 10 hanggang 15 centavos kada litro.
Ipinagdiriwang po ngayon ang Mascara Festival sa Bacolod City. Bukod sa main attraction na Mascara Street Dancing Competition, inabangan din ng maraming turista ang electric mascara. Marami ang humanga sa show of lights na ibinida sa makukulay na floats ng 9 na barangay na sumali sa parada. Dagdag atraksyon ang mga sumasayaw sa mga float. Ipinagdiriwang ng mga taga Bacolod ang Mascara Festival para ipakita na sa kabila ng hirap nilang pinagdaanan, nananatili silang matatag at masayahin.
Sayang, hindi ako nakauwi. Besta namin.
Happy Mascara Festival po Yan ang mga balitang nakalap sa aming tuloy-tuloy na pagpapatrol, mga kapamilya. Alam niyo po ba na 64 days na lang Pasko na.
Kami, ang inyong patrol ng Pilipino, naglilingkod sa inyo saan man sa mundo.
Live mula rito sa Davao International Airport, kasama ng Pangulo ang mga miyembro ng kanyang gabinete at iba pang bahagi ng delegasyon. At sa puntong ito ay mainit na sinasalubong ang Pangulo ng Philippine Air Force at Army sa pamamagitan ng isang banda. Inaasahan natin na sa kanyang pagdating nga ay mag-uulat ang Pangulo kaugnay sa naging bunga ng kanyang dalawang magkasunod na state visit sa Brunei at China. Noong nakaraang linggo, tumulak ang Pangulo sa Brunei para sa 3 araw na pagbisita kung saan nakipagpulong ito kay Sultan Haji Hassan al-Bolkiah sa Filipino community at matatandaan ng Brunei dapat ang unang foreign visit ng Pangulo, subalit dahil sa Davao Blast ay hindi ito natuloy. Samantala, lumipad naman ng Pangulo pa Beijing noong October 18 bilang tugon sa imbitasyon ni Chinese President Xi Jinping. Hindi po nga natutunghayan sa live feed ang pagdating ng Pangulo. Ating pong tunghayan.
Philippines, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Ikaw ang mataahon.
If you don't mind, I'd dispense with the acknowledgements of the personas who are here because kilala naman tayong lahat. I am glad to be back after my state visits to Brunei, Jerusalem, and the People's Republic of China. In both my visits, we reviewed the sum total of our relations and explored other areas of undertakings that open doors for more meaningful engagements. A clear focus was directed more on economic cooperation and partnership to benefit our people. In Brunei, I met His Majesty Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah, with whom I discussed ways of furthering deepening bilateral relations, particularly to economic cooperation. We secured Brunei's commitment to help develop Mindanao halal industry, especially in certification and in capacity building. Brunei and Mindanao can be twin hubs for the production and export of halal certified products. We agreed to intensify trade and investments and to work closely to further bolster the role of BIMP-IAGA in growing our economies. We also agreed to address connectivity issues to increase air and sea linkages to facilitate trade and commerce. I thank His Majesty's of Brunei's role as a partner for peace and security's continued support for the Philippines' effort to pursue just and lasting peace in Mindanao. We fully cooperate to combat illegal drugs trade and collaborate on maritime and defense issues, particularly in redressing our transnational crimes, piracy, and crimes at sea. To ensure progress in our discussions, we instructed officials of our respective government to immediately work together in transforming this agreed agenda into specific plans and actions. In my state visit to China, I met President Xi Jinping and 3 other members of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Chinese Communist Party. I met Premier He Chang, of Chairman of the National People's Congress, and Xiang Lijiang, and Vice Premier Gao Li. In all meetings, we had productive and extensive discussions of the full range of the Chinese-Philippine relations, from trade and investments to infrastructures and tourism, and to science and technology and health. To realize the vision of a deeper and more meaningful engagement, we have opened formal lines of communications between our government and agreed on the full resumption of the regular bilateral consultations mechanisms which were put on hold for several years. With security and stability recognized as necessary conditions for growth, the Philippines and China affirmed the importance of maintaining and promoting peace, freedom of navigation, and overflight in South China Sea. We acknowledge the need to address disputes through peaceful means in accordance with international law. We also agreed to continue discussions on confidence-building measures, including a bilateral consultation mechanisms to discuss immediate issues of concern in South China Sea. To maintain stability, we also concluded an agreement between our Coast Guards for general cooperation to minimize incidents at sea. To combat the menace of illegal drug, we will continue across a broad range of areas, including in capacity building, equipment upgrading, and support for rehabilitation purposes. With the shared objective of achieving greater growth and prosperity for our peoples, the Philippines and China jointly work closely on building on a robust economic agenda. Our government signed 13 agreements, mostly economic in nature, and these agreements provide the framework to which to carry out intensified cooperation between the Philippines and China. In my meetings with officials and businesses, there was a renewed and heightened sense of optimism in trade relations. The friendship rekindled opened a deeper commitments to significantly enhance trade and investments. My talks have resulted in public financing agreements and a private business deals valued at $24 billion in soft loans we have agreed from other banks. These agreements covering various fields of economic activities are expected to generate 2 million jobs for the Filipinos in the next 5 years. Your government will continue to work very hard to ensure that these agreements bear concrete results that will better the lives of our people. We shall also make sure that the credit facility and the soft loans will be solely utilized in public financing that benefits all Filipinos. In my state visit to China, signaled a turning point in our shared history and showed that both countries are fully capable of working together for mutual beneficial cooperation, even as we remain committed to settle disputes peacefully in full adherence of international law. In every step that took the Philippines and China relations further forward, I was guided by the burden duty to protect the sovereignty of our nation and the interest of our people. In all my engagements abroad, rest assured that I will always pursue our nation's best interest, consistent with our independent foreign policy, anchored on the basic tenets of sovereignty, non-interference, and mutual respect. On the personal side, the warm welcome and expressions of the support of our kababayans in Brunei and China further strengthened my resolve to pursue the various reforms being carried by our government. We will harness our foreign relations to the inclusive growth and sustainable development of our country so that working abroad becomes an option and no longer a need for our people. With this, I seek your continued support and cooperation as we strive to introduce fresh initiatives and more endeavors that will create meaningful changes in ourselves, our families, our communities. Salamat. We can maybe accommodate a few questions. Siguro mga 100 okay na.
The first question, Mr. President, is from Edith Regalado of the Philippine Star.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
First question is this. While in China, you declared, you had some pronouncements about severing ties with the U.S., both militarily and economic aspect. Now the question is, when are you going to come out with a written order with respect to the military? And then for the economic aspect, it would affect private businesses and, you know, the BPOs and everything. So, yung side na yun, sir. And then second question, sir. Anahin ko na lang, sir.
That is the third.
No, second question pa, sir. Second question is this. Is your attitude towards the U.S., does it have something to do with the mirroring case? Has the U.S. ever asked or apologized to you through those years?
I'll answer you the second question.
Sir.
It has not really appeased me at all. Binastos tayo ng Amerika. Mirroring was carrying out explosives in and out of Davao City for several years. He was hosted sa Evergreen Hotel. Hindi siya pumayag na may pasok Tigalinis. And for 5 years, he was in and out of Davao City. One day, there was an explosion. It burned the hotel, not nearly, but sunog. And he was brought to the hospital. He lost both of his legs. But unfortunately, the following morning, early on, may naglanding dito sa airport na to, a citation of the U.S. Embassy, at bumaba isang pulis na gago na taga-Pilipinas, Colonel, I forgot his name, and some Americans who branded their badges as FBI raw sila, got Mirroring out of the hotel, brought him out, kasi sabi nila dalhin nila sa Makati Medical Center for better medical treatment facilities, whatever. But what they really did was to fly out Mirroring Michael to Singapore and shanghaied him to the United States. To this day, parang Batman and Robin mystery yan. No explanation. Thought a week after, or 4 or 5 days, Richard Donny, the ambassador at the time of the United States, nagipag-usap sa akin early morning with his aide only, and Mr. Bongo, 4 kami nag-usap, and they promised to conduct a full-scale investigation and committed to me that they will serve me a copy. Sa awa ng Diyos, hanggang ngayon, wala pa ako natanggap ni baski note lang man sana. One night, during the campaign, at least that, may card ako sa kanya. I think Bong was the card. May binigay siya ng card, sabi niya, he was from the CIA. And sabi ko, may I help you? And we talked about the Mering case and said that he would see me maybe the day after. And we did meet almost 4 o'clock in the morning. I was very tired from a campaign sorted at night. At ang sinabi lang niya, and these were his exact words, Mayor, pwede ba natin kalimutan na lang to? Can we let this pass, this thing pass? Can we forget it? Sabi ko, wala naman rin akong magawa. I've been waiting for that report, but until now, I haven't. So I really do not know what was the mystery about. So, ngayon, itong Amerika, if they violate their sovereignty, they will raise hell. They go to war. Kung tayong ginagawa nila sa atin, there wasn't even an apology or anything. Kinalimutan ko yun. Ngayon, dumating itong naging presidente na ako, and one of the 3 promises that I made to the people was that I will cut corruption. And I hope it will really. Hindi ako naawa sa akin, naawa ako sa, we will cut corruption, period. Second is, I will fight drugs. And third, I will cut criminality. Problema ngayon, I am faced with a dilemma. We never knew exactly how many at the time during the campaign that, how many people were infected or gone crazy because of drugs. And they knew it because they were there when it was unfolding. Yung 3 million na yun, figure yun ni General Santiago when he headed the PDEA. Hindi ko binilang yung akin kasi until now, we are receiving surrenderies, and I think by the end of the year, it would have reached the 4 million mark. Alam nila yan. And so I was hard-pressed. They knew, they operate a government that, they knew that I was a mid-term president, that I entered into the picture operating on a budget that was prepared last year by President Aquino for the operation of this year. And I was hard-pressed on everything. And yet they had the goal, these idiots, they would just say, well, why Duterte? Why is he killing the criminals? Why does he not just build enough rehab centers for 3 million immediately kaagad? It's easy to criticize. With that, they knew that I had no money. I am now operating on a budget. We do not have capital outlay. Ang atin is the maintenance, MOEOE. MOOE lang tayo. Pang-sweldo, pang-tawid na lang itong sa... And that's the problem. And so I ordered a full-scale war. I did not order a police action, but because that would not have enough. So when I became president, I pressed everybody. And lo and behold, we are now nearing 4 million drug addicts in this country. Alam mong ginawa ng Amerika? Ang una-una itong human rights, I know who's that idiot, also another idiot. There were plenty of idiots there criticizing me about human rights. Sinakyan nila an issue of extrajudicial killing, which was not an issue at all. You were here, we were all around. It was not an issue against me. Until the dying days of the campaign, when my ratings were going up, lahat ng basura, and this senator who talks with his mouth, with his foot on his mouth, binasura na pati corruption. I said, open the banks and all, you can have. I authorize everybody, go and search for the money. At itong extrajudicial killing. Ngayon, binigyan mo ako ng pan. I was about avoided it, but you gave the window, so I'm... Ngayon, ito, galit ako sa kanila. Kasi yung 3,000 na namatay, they would like to make appear like an idiot that they were all killed extrajudicially. Not counting the policemen and soldiers I lose every day to fight the drug problem. To this day, the other day, that was the last briefing, and I lost another policeman. Tapos sumunod na itong State Department, another idiot. Then the Office of the President, I don't know whose name was, babae na. Then it was Obama himself. You know, if somebody can give me an answer, I will resign tonight in handwriting. Tell me what was wrong when the United States declared war against Iraq on a pretext of weapons of mass destruction. They entered Iraq, they killed Saddam, destroyed the country, killed so many people, only to find out that there was no weapons of mass destruction. Tell me if it is right, because I will resign. Any man here in this room would stand up before me and say, it was moral, it was right to kill a leader of a nation, wipe out his people, and have the gall to criticize me about human rights violation. They undermined Libya. Libya is a failed state. They are eating Saddam slowly. Were it not for the fact that China and Russia are supporting Syria. Why? Why? Because if Assad is out, they would have destroyed the entire Middle East. Why? Maybe oil. Why? Stupidity. Another reason. Idiotic behavior. Yan ang problema dyan. Kaya ako galit kay Mary because binastos nila ako. Nung tinanong ninyo ako kinaumagan, you were the one who asked the question, saka pa. Sabi niya, si Miring na wala. So I called Lasa, who is now the mayor of Agonay. Colonel Lasa, he was the chief of police at the time. Sabi niya, Mayor, hindi ko alam. So I called General Peña, who was the RD here. Sabi ko, ano nangyari? Sabi niya, Mayor, hindi ko talaga alam. So, what do you call that? Is that respect? Mutual respect and papahigin mo muna ako, minute na inom na ako ng tubig. Ikaw kasi marunong ka talaga mapainit na makatulog ngayong gabi. Ikaw na. Tapos sabihin ninyo ang Amerika lives by the values of what? Whose value is it? Your value? Our values? Because if there is one thing that they don't really want to, if there is one thing that the Americans have failed miserably, it is in the province of the human dignity. Dali kayong maano? Basta kung ano, just like Obama, during the Laos meeting, I was here. I answered a particular question, ano gawin mo pagka i-raise nila yung extrajudicial? Anong sinagot ko sa inyo? Huwag ninyo akong bastusin kasi pag bababuhin ko talaga kayo doon. Did I mention Obama? But when I said the following day, because it was fed to him, those were hurting words with the president. Hindi ko nga siya pinansin eh. And he didn't even bother to say, no, I was wrong, Duterte. I thought you were because my idiotic group also told me that you said this and that. I never mentioned his name. And so what I did was, during the round table engagement, sinlabas ko yung picture ng massacre. And somebody, mga bright itong Pilipino, and even in that Angkor something, there was this group of Filipinos. It's 1 century ago. Those are not my words. Before the election, I tried to reach everybody. Norm Iswari, the communists. I went to Murad, there, ng panan doon sa kampo nila. I talked with Jafar. And we talked again here. But I said I was not satisfied. I tried to reach out to the Abu Sayyaf and to the radical groups. And to, bantay ka dyan yung mga scholars. They do not carry arms, but they preach fundamentalism. And he told me, Mayor Duterte, we can talk to you, but we will not negotiate peace with you. Why? Because the Americans are still there in your country. We see so many of them, the special forces, scattered all over Mindanao. And they are here to finish us through your... They are there to advise your troops how to wipe us out the face of the earth. Kaya sabi ko, I cannot even talk this. This particular massacre did not happen yesterday. Sabi lang nila, hindi akin yun. Sa mga scholars. We cannot forget it because so many, sila ang dapat sisihin. The Filipinos at that time, mahirap lang, pobre. We didn't have that camera. They all got those pictures of killings, massacre, piled bodies, with a soldier putting his foot on the breast of a woman. Ginawa nila, even as a postcard, at kinuha niya nila na yung mga bright na kinuha yan doon sa archives nila, hindi sa atin. So, gano'n. tapos tayo dyan. Yan.
The last question.
May idagdag pa ako. Kaya ako, pati pa itong iyo di puta, isa ring ugok, some lawyers of iyo, hinulat-tulatan ako that I could be, ang masakit dyan, ganito, putang ina nila. When they criticize me, and all of those guys who appeared before the international networks, they would say this: Mayor Duterte, you must account for those who were killed, blah, 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 blah. Remember that if you do that, we will cut the assistance and the aid money. Putang ina kayo. Ganon kaliit ang tingin ninyo sa amin. Pumunta ka dito, ipakain ko yung dollar mo. Sila, bastos yun eh. Kaya if I react in the manner of a Filipino na galit sa kanila. Kaya ako nag-iinsulto ng tao. What is there to defend my integrity and the integrity of the people of the Philippines? Ganon ninyo, paano ang mga Pilipino sa labas? Nandiyan na nga, nagpakahirap na, tapos that we will cut the assistance. Putang ina, iilo ninyo yung pera ninyo. You know what is an ilo? That's a piece of paper. When you run out of toilet paper, you wipe out your ass. God damn it. Bullshit kayo. Why am I saying this? It sounds the height of vulgarity. You started it. You give me 10, I'll give you 20. Bakit din yung sabihin na